So a few months ago, I made a video essay titled VRChat is magical. In it, I try my best to explain why I think VRChat is great. I think I did an okay job, but there's been something bothering me ever since I made it. See, while I stand by everything I said in it, I think I left something really important out. So let me tell you a story. One of the first times I spent more than 15 minutes in VRChat, I went into drinking night with my wife. As we entered the world, we were greeted by the too loud, too cheerful music, the blue hues of a building permanently stuck somewhere in a nebula, and a world that itself was just destined to always be jammed full of drunken 20-somethings, desperate for, well, that's for another video. Anyway, there were multiple conversations going on, a couple of edgy-looking, dripped-out wolf boys talking with each other, clearly sloshed, clearly unaware of how they were clipping the mics of their Oculus headsets, and clearly lagging out the instance with the somewhere between 100 to 300 dynamic bones and or colliders on their avatars. Somewhere else, there was a group laughing, just muffled enough that you knew they were having fun, but you couldn't tell why. And then, in front of us was a hot dog. Next to the hot dog, a cute anime girl whose model's file size was so large it had taken a full minute to load. It had glowing stripes, hair that swayed around, clothes that were a hodgepodge of early 2010s streetwear, and a nerd's idea of future fashion. They didn't speak, they just motioned at us. We were new, we hadn't met anyone yet, and so we just motioned back. This continued for a bit. Eventually they spoke to us. Eventually, their friend showed up. Another avatar, its clothes shifting from color to color, as if someone had just looked over at their extremely gamer computer and said, "Yeah, I want to look like that." Look, you're not allowed to judge me. It's pretty, okay? We ended up talking with each other as a group. The Mirror Boys came over, a few other groups passed by, one thing led to another, and the two of them became our friends. We'd spend many nights jumping from world to world. I would learn about them, details, all kinds of details, their fears, home lives, what they've been through, what they would go through. Eventually our little group made a few more friends. We'd watch anime together, or just silly YouTube videos. They'd share music, we'd share music, our tastes nothing even remotely alike. Of course a Discord server was formed, and we'd sometimes play other games. But our home, where we'd always come back to, well, it was here, the treehouse. Now, as things go, I don't see them as much anymore. It's nothing serious, just normal stuff. You get interested in a new game, a new distraction, you stop logging on. But that wasn't really me. I would keep coming back. I couldn't get distracted by anything else. This was all I wanted to do. So I met more people. I once sat at 3 a.m. on a Sunday morning on top of a pillar at an LSD-infused Stonehenge world after a night of dancing to an entire genre of electronic music I had no awareness of before I first started going to raves in VRChat. Another guy came up, who I'd been headbanging next to earlier. We talked. Just for a little bit. Just about life. The music was utterly chaotic, the sonic equivalent of a can of Monsters smashed into the side of an abandoned, rusted-out warehouse. But it was peaceful. It felt like connecting with someone who I knew way better than I actually did. It was a small moment, but it felt meaningful. Another time, I was with my wife hanging out at the Black Cat when a guitarist took the stage and began strumming through an original song. This isn't an uncommon occurrence, but what made it notable was that he was actually good. He just wasn't playing Oasis chords on loop, and he had a crowd. He finished and was amazed at the people standing there asking for more. We ended up talking a bit. He didn't have a VR headset. He was young and hopeful and earnest. We didn't really stay in touch, but we met up once after that and had a long conversation in a public world with him and 4 or 5 other people. I don't really remember what we were talking about. I just remember it lasted for hours and it felt good. Another time, I'd logged on by myself and decided to lurk in the pug. I just walked upstairs, sat down, and eavesdropped on a conversation. Particularly conservatively dressed, for VRChat that is, meaning only a little cleavage, Fox Girl sat next to me and asked me how my day was. I told her okay, but then backtracked and told the truth. I was actually having a rough day for a bunch of health reasons. She immediately jumped up, said something along the lines of, "I hope this cheers you up," and then proceeded to explode. Like, literally explode. Just her arms and legs popped off in different directions along with her head. It was so bizarre, So unexpected that I did laugh. I laughed a lot. I just like let out one of those huge belly laughs. We ended up talking for a little bit after that, just a minute or two, and then she continued on her way. Still though, despite all the people I'd meet and the events that I'd attend, and despite even the real life friends I'd bring into VRChat and give them the whole tour of all the cool worlds I'd seen, somehow I'd always end up back here in the treehouse. I've spent so many nights here. Sometimes I wouldn't be paying attention to my friends. I'm 31, which makes me ancient in VRChat. So when the night would just be starting for them, I'd be struggling to stay awake. And I'd hear them laughing and talking to each other, and I'd be here, looking up at these rafters, at the cracks of the sky making it through the mottled beams. I'd catch a glimpse of the slowly shifting aura, of the beauty of a world that stands as a memorial to a man I'd never get to thank for the experience. I don't know if I'll ever really meet any of these people. I don't know if I'll ever get to have those conversations again in VRChat or otherwise. If I'm being honest with myself, I probably won't. That's just the way things are. But it doesn't matter, because I already have met them a little bit. And I know I'll meet more people, all of whom I'd never meet otherwise, outside of this crazy game. In a chaotic, hellish year, a historic period of time that all of us collectively will never forget, one punctuated by isolation and having all sense of normalcy burned to the ground, I never actually felt alone. Lonely? Sure, sometimes. Christmas was a little rough, but truly alone? No. I always knew at the end of the day I could come here. I could meet my friends, or make new ones, or just be around people. Is it the same thing as seeing a best friend in person? No, it's not. But it's something. And in 2020, it was the only thing keeping me sane. And I have to imagine this isn't a unique experience. I'm not the only one that felt this way, that feels this way. So really, that's why VRChat is magical. That's the real reason. All that stuff in the first video, it's true, and I stand by it, like I said, but it's not what's really keeping me logging on night after night. It's this. It's all the memories that I've made here this year, all the people I've met, all the people I'll meet. That's VRChat. That's what's so unique about it. Yeah, there's chat rooms elsewhere and virtual worlds elsewhere, but there's no place that's quite like this. I sincerely hope, from the bottom of my heart, that 2021 is better for you and better for all of us. My original plan for December was to release a fairly big video at the end of the month, but it's taking a lot more time than I thought it would. It's gonna be great, and I'm already proud of it so far, but yeah, I don't think I'm gonna do much to promote this video, but if you've made it this far, I encourage you to join my Discord. In the process of making this video and talking about all this stuff, I realized the whole reason I'm making video essays is really to build a community for people that want to talk about, I don't know, the theoretical bits of VRChat, the more interesting experiences that you can have on this program. So yeah, I'd like you to join my Discord and maybe we can build a little community together. Anyway, the link for that's in the description. But that's it. I'll see you in the new year. So yeah, Happy New Year.